Hello people, Awesome50 back again, and I've just finished playing a game called Crash Bandicoot 4. It's about time. Now, I've just said that as if people aren't going to know what Crash Bandicoot actually is. Yes, maybe I should have done my opening a little bit better, but yes, I'm going to talk about the game Crash Bandicoot 4. Okay, so this game's actually been out for quite a while now, so this review's not exactly new, but it's a new video from me, and new videos from me means more content from me, which is great, yay! Okay, so basically, yeah, I haven't finished this game completely, nowhere near, like, I haven't, but I've done every single main level, pretty much. I just did the last level last night, I believe. Yes, it was last night, I had a few beers from playing the game, so I struggled with the second to last level. I died maybe 150 times. And as you can tell, yeah, I didn't have it on retro mode because I just didn't. So the game's actually really, really good. There's lots of like nostalgic, elements to the game, especially when you're fighting Embryo. Holy shit! When you fight Embryo, it might as well be the exact same boss fight you was doing on Crash Bandicoot 1. Fantastic. So yeah, it's really good. If I've got any criticism to the game, I'm gonna say well, I'd like it to have been longer. Okay. I like there to have been more bosses. Because in the Crash Bandicoot universe, there's so many bosses. If you look at every single game, obviously this game continues on from Crash Bandicoot 3 Warped, not including any other games which was made after Crash Bandicoot Warped because they're in a different universe. So basically, within them three games, there's quite a lot of bosses. They should have really put every single one of their bosses into this game. It would have been good. Unless they're intending to use these other bosses into future games, then okay, I'll let it off. The only criticism, another criticism I have to the game is it's so fucking hard. This game is fucking ridiculously bullshit hard. Like, I mean, I've watched people on YouTube playing the game where they're like getting every single like box, every single crate on like the last few levels, and I'm just not sure how the fuck it's actually possible because this game is so hard. It's ridiculously difficult. I mean, the thing is, with Crash Bandicoot 1, now that was a ridiculously difficult game, ridiculously difficult. So they toned it down a bit in Crash Bandicoot 2. And the game was a lot easier and still held the same like difficulty, if you will. It was a bit easier, but it was hard enough. But then with Crash Bandicoot 3 Warped, it went a bit really ridiculous because that game was so easy. I think I recall doing every single level within 6 hours once. I'm sure it was something like that. It was when I was in my old house. I actually managed to pretty much complete the game in one sitting. So that game was too easy. So the fine balance was Crash Bandicoot 2. That was for me personally. If you want to go to get every single box, gem, and do the tiny trials or whatever, Crash Bandicoot 2 had it better in retrospect. Now, what I'm saying, it's obviously a very unpopular opinion and it's up for debate, everything I'm saying right now. But you've got to think about it this way, people. The game is aimed at old school Crash fans like myself. But you've got to think, look at the graphics, look at the colours, look at the way the game's been made, how cartoonized it is. It's aimed also for the new generation of gamers. And by new generation of gamers, I'm going to say between the ages of, I'm just throwing it out there, 12-year-old to 16-year-olds. It should be engaging for them. This is what the game was all about. It was for us, old school Crash fans, and for the new generation, to get people interested in Crash again. They did that with the Insane Trilogy. They're getting the new generation back into it. But the problem with this game is I can't see this game being good for the younger generation, simply because it's so fucking hard. I can't imagine. Well, it's just, I don't think it's fair. I think there should be, at least, if they're going to make the game that difficult, they should have a level skip option if you're dying too many times. Simply because, yes, this game is going to force people to become better gamers in the long run, but the problem is for the younger generation, they're not going to see it like that. They're going to play this game and just get ridiculously frustrated and get upset because they can't complete the game because it's so hard. It's just really, really, really hard. Especially the last island. It's just ridiculously difficult, and it is borderline impossible. Some things, unless you've dedicated like a portion of your life to this game and memorized everything like you would in a Souls game, then you will be good at the game. But obviously, this is going to be extremely off-putting for the younger generation because they're not going to be able to finish the game, let alone get 100% completion, because they're not going to be able to hit every box. And I'm not trying to say that younger generation gamers are not as good as the older generation of gamers. All I'm saying is, us as adults, we can have a lot more restraint and patience. We do lose our shit when playing games, but we understand that. You know, we understand it. When we play a Dark Souls game, we know we're going to get wrecked. But the younger generation probably don't know that. See what I mean? So Toyota Bob, who made this game, who developed it, you should have really thought about that. Don't get me wrong, I know I feel you're going to say, yeah, but retro mode, also 50, you just said you played retro mode. Yeah, I played a retro mode, but still, it rubs salt into the wounds when it tells you how many times you've died in a level. But I mean, yeah, I played retro mode, but that doesn't make any fucking difference to my playstyle, because even when I replayed the games in the NCN trilogy, before I went into the higher levels, I always farmed lives from the earlier levels. So it didn't really make a difference. I'd have just done that anyway. So being on retro mode, I'd have just gone back to level 1 and farmed maybe 53 lives. And then I would have tackled the level. So if I were playing retro mode or not playing retro mode, it doesn't really matter. If anything, it's just shaved some time off from me farming lives to go into this level. That's all it's done. So to be fair, if you were to think that, okay, you've been playing it not on retro mode, you've been playing it on modern mode, you got infinite lives, why am I complaining? I'm not complaining, I'm just saying. So basically, yeah. The one good thing they do is when you are extremely struggling, they manage to carry it forward where you get a mask and then you get the 2 masks, which make 1 mask where you get 2 hit points. That's good to get that in. Another thing they did good were, if you are really struggling, they brought checkpoints forward. They were already designed checkpoints, so basically, if you die too many times in one area, the checkpoint might be brought forward, so you don't have to start all the way back from where you last got stuck. That's good. Helpful. Helped me out a lot. But yeah, the game is good. But I think it's good for maybe the nostalgia reasons. If that makes any sense whatsoever. You know. Another thing I've seen is a lot of people are wondering, how is this game like carrying on from Crash Bandicoot 3 Warped? What about the other games in the Crash Bandicoot series? Is this a prequel to them games in the series? No. This game carries on straight after Crash Bandicoot 3 Warped, okay? Now, if anyone's confused about the timeline or how this actually works out, is anything after Crash Bandicoot 3 Warped is an alternative timeline. Basically, they go into timelines in this game anyway, where you get Torna, she's from a different like timeline and stuff like this, etc, etc. So if you think about it, in Crash Bandicoot 3 Warped, the Time Twister machine got destroyed and it went bizarre. It went spiraled out of control. So basically, it's messed time up. It's give everybody alternative dimensions in the game. And by doing that, this is where you've got where Crash Twinsanity, Mind Over Mutants, everything like that happens in different dimensions. So Mind Over Mutant and Crash of the Titans and stuff, that's that dimension. Crash Twinsanity is that dimension. This one is Crash Bandicoot 4, which I've just played. And by Crash Bandicoot 4, I don't mean Wrath of Cortex with crunching. That's different timeline also. So this is a direct sequel to the correct timeline. This is where this game sits in the series. Some people are going to tell you different, but no, this is how it is. That it just to clear up any timeline issues, okay? So the game is extremely fun for nostalgia reasons. It's very good. The bosses are fantastic. It's really good. It is extremely difficult. Yeah. Is that a problem for adult gamers? No. But is it for the younger generation? Yes. It will teach patience, but it will also bring out frustration. You know? For example, if I'm playing, for example, the game Doom Eternal, which I never completed because it's ridiculously difficult, I'm going to go into that game knowing it's going to be hard. But for a younger generation of gamer, they just want to have fun. Does that make sense? So there's a fine line between fun and not fun. When the game's too hard, it's not fun. If they included a level skip after dying so many times, now that would help. Or at least a segment skip. That would be good. Not for people like, you know, people that can handle these games. For people that just want to play the game and have fun and they don't mind revisiting the area they got stuck on before, that's okay. But it kind of traps you into that element where you have to get past that segment you're stuck on. So that's not fun. The problem is, Crash Bandicoot 1, it was too hard, so they dumbed that down. They kind of followed in the same mistakes Naughty Dog made back in the 90s. But it's okay. But anyway, Crash Bandicoot 4, what am I going to say? Is it worth the money? Yeah. Well, you know, I wouldn't pay any more than £20 for the game. I got the game when it was on offer, and I used an Xbox gift card. I think it was a £10 gift card. I got the game for about £21. But holy shit, I've seen it on the Game Pass for about, I think the max was like £70 with the extras, of course. And I'm thinking, what the fuck? The game is not worth that much money. Don't pay good money for that game. If anything, the Insane Trilogy is more worth it than Crash 4 because you get more content, more bosses, more levels, etc., etc. So yeah, they are being cheeky with the price, but you can pick it up every other month or something on a discount. That's okay. Is it worth the money? I'd say yeah, about worth £21, which I paid. Is it worth £60? No. Is it fuck? Don't pay that money. It's ridiculous. There was something else I'm going to cover as well. I can't really quite remember. But yeah, no, it's very good. It's very nostalgic. It's a nice sequel to the series, and I believe they've got another game in development, which would be fantastic when that actually comes out. Again, I wouldn't pay ridiculous money for it, but I would buy the game eventually. Because it's a good series. You know? That's it. There's nothing else I can really mention. The levels are really good. They're very nostalgic again. Like, everything's all about nostalgia in this game. And it's pretty much the same kind of game you've played before, probably in the 90s, but just like revamped, remastered, and it's a brand new take. So you do get what you pay for. You're after paying for a Crash Bandicoot game. You get a Crash Bandicoot game. It's what you wanted. It's like with Sega, when it moved on to Nintendo with Sonic the Hedgehog. When you buy a Sonic the Hedgehog game, you get a Sonic the Hedgehog game. That's what you want. That's what people wanted. So with a Crash Bandicoot game, you get a Crash Bandicoot game, and it's an up-to-date one, and it's what you wanted, because people don't just buy Crash Bandicoot this day and age and not know what they're buying. So the good thing is when you do get this game, you kind of do know what you're buying. Right, so I finished talking about this game now. In a minute, I'm about to watch some Kung Fu films, and then I might just carry on playing Dead Island 2, and I will likely do a review about this as well. Please hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. I really should be saying this at the start of my videos, or at least putting like a sign or something, because I'm kind of getting nowhere on YouTube. But I like talking about games anyway, so sharing my philosophy on games is fantastic. You've got to bear in mind, people, these videos are not scripted. I just talk about them on the spot. And yeah. And I don't have that many views simply because I'm probably not too sure how to even market my YouTube channel, let alone it's probably a bit boring. But if anyone's after me talking about any game ever, just let me know. I'll try anything else and talk about anything. Awesome 50 out. Thank you all for watching.